What's up everyone, my name's Alpha and today we're back with another Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon Sun and today's challenge be can I be Pokemon Sun Hardcore Nuzlocke using only Trial Captain's shiny Pokemons. I actually never done this and I'm very impressed that I came up with this idea. Anyway, so today the premise of the video, the rules on screen right now, so you're going to catch one Pokemon per route and he must be a Pokemon from a Trial Captain's team. Trial Captains are actually completely different from Kahunas. I think they're just like a step or two below Kahunas, so the second highest in command in the island. And yeah, we're going to use their Pokemon. They actually have teams that you can battle in the game in Sun and Moon with. Some Trial Captains I don't count are the ones that turn into like Elite Four members, like a Celera turns into Elite Four member. I'm not going to use her team because that's kind of broken, but there's also a bunch of other ones. I'll explain it through when we catch them, and also they overlap a lot of Kahuna Pokemon, they overlap in the same route, so I'm pretty much looking for one Pokemon per like trial area. And also on top of that, if my Pokemon ever faints, they're dead, can't use them ever again. The level caps can be determined by the Kahuna's highest level Pokemon, so there's gonna be 4 different level caps for 4 different islands. And on top of that, you can't use items out of battle. You can use hell items, but you can't use bag items, and you gotta play on set mode because to make it even more difficult. On top of that, each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments, so thanks so much for leaving a comment in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after your future Pokemon, just drop in the comments and hopefully have pictures. And while it's down there, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, it means a lot to me. Anyways, let's get into the challenge video itself. So to begin off, there's no trial cap that has a starter Pokemon, so we gotta start hunting out in Route 1. So we get Pokeballs pretty early. I completely forgot about this, but after you get your starter Pokemon, you just get it really early. So we're gonna start hunting out here, and eventually we get a Yungoos or Grubbin over here, so it didn't matter which one. We got ourselves a Grubbin, which is really good, so we're gonna add that to my team really quick. So Grubbin's pretty cool. We can use Grubbin against How, and it's a pretty easy fight. So from there we can make our way into Howley City, and then from there we can shiny hunt once again. Now the problem is there is an actual Magnet Zone we could have gotten, but unfortunately, since Magnet Zone's in the Pokemon School and Pokemon School counts as Route 1, we can't really get them anymore, so we have to go all the way into Howley City for next Pokemon. And yeah, we get both of the starting Pokemon pretty early on anyway, so we get Yungoos added to my team, and then from there we can face off against Alima, the first trial cap. We can use any of his Pokemon pretty easily, so we have the Yungoos. Try purposely not get Smeargle. Once we beat Alima, we're gonna move out into Route 3, and in this area you can get Growlithe and also Cutiefly, both of which are on Kiawe's team, and also the Fairy type. I forgot the Fairy type trial cap. We can get it from her team as well. As from there we actually get Cutiefly, which, you know what, kind of annoying because you get Cutiefly after first trial in the game, so it's kind of annoying we got a Cutiefly here and not a Growlithe. So we get Cutiefly, we add it to my team, but kind of upset about that. We could have gotten Melee Garden, but from there we can move on and face up against the Totem Gumshoos next, which isn't too difficult at all. I lie, I almost lose my Kenji. I almost lose my Grubbin. Could have been really bad, but I got to my Yungoos to knock out the Gumshoos and also the other Yungoos in the corner as we beat down the first trial in the game, and then move on into our first Kahuna fight. We're gonna face off against Hala. Hala's gonna be the fighting type Kahuna, but we have a Cutiefly, and it should be pretty easy. As we start the battle off against him using my Cutiefly, we're gonna go for Fairy Wind and 2-shot into the Mankey, as the Mankey does 0 damage against me. We're gonna force out the Makuhita. The Makuhita is the most annoying one because it has Sand Attack, and I try to reset it. Obviously try to go out to my Yungoos and then switch back out into my Cutiefly, but unfortunately it still go for Sand Attacks, and since I missed one, he's gonna keep using it, and eventually it stopped the 2 luckily, but I'm able to knock him out with a crit, and then force out the Crab Brawler, which will go for his Z move. It won't do anything, but if I keep missing my Fairy Winds, it's gonna get really bad. Lucky enough I landed and knock out Hala, and we cleared through the first Kahuna in the game, actually allowing us to evolve our Gumshoos since the level cap jumped up. And then also evolve my Grubbin into a Charger Bug, which we actually didn't evolve into the full form. You'll see why later on, but from there, we can go out to the next Totem fight in Alcala Island. We're going to face out against the Totem Wishy-Wash. The Cutiefly was doing pretty good. Unfortunately, it was not good enough as the Wishy-Washy was doing too much damage, so I decided to check to my Charger Bug, which actually turns out to be the best Pokemon, which knocks out the Totem Wishy-Washy and also the Wishy-Washy in the corner. From there, we could actually start shiny hunting in the Brooklyn Hills, which is really nice because unfortunately it takes a while, but we find ourselves a shiny Dewpider, which we're gonna add to my team with our water type Pokemon we're gonna have. We're gonna go out into the Wellow Volcano Peak next. We're gonna start shiny hunting out here as well. I didn't mention the Dewpider and a Raikou will be on Lana's team, and also Fletchling or Cubone will be on Kiawe's team. From there, we find ourselves a shiny Cubone, which thankfully we got, because Fletchling only evolves into Fletchender. We can actually use it against the next totem, or we can actually use our Araquanid, which actually came with a Mystic Water as well. So we're gonna use that with also the Z move on it, so we're able to one-shot Totem Salazzle pretty easily as we clear through the Fire Trial. And then from there, my Cutiefly evolves into a Rabombi, so we can face off against the Grass Totem pretty easily, as we actually go for a Silver Wing, because I was trying to go for a boost, but didn't get it. But I can outspeed him anyway, so I can Pollen Puff and knock out the Lurantis, and then two-shot into the Castform as we beat down the Grass Trial as well. And yeah, we can also start shiny hunting into the Lush Jungle as well. These two Pokemon, you can get Steenie or Merlot, which will evolve into Shenanix. We actually just want Merlot because we can actually manipulate this. Here's a Merlot in the nighttime, add it to my team, and then evolve it into a Shenanix, which will take easily. And then from there, we can move on into Akala Island's Kahuna. We're face off against Olivia next. We're gonna start the battle off against Olivia using my Cubone with an Eviolite and Boomerang, so we can smack down the Nose Pass, as it can't actually go for its companion move, Thunder Wave. So we just keep going for Boomerangs and knock out the Nose Pass and knock out the Boldore. Actually, we're gonna waste the Super Potion on as well, so we're eventually gonna knock him out with 2 more Boomerangs. As from there, you can switch out into her Lycanroc, which I go for a Boomerang. Unfortunately, I can knock him out in the following turn, but unfortunately, he's gonna go for a Bite and flinch me. I knew it was gonna happen, so I decided to switch out into my Gumshoes. Lucky enough, Gumshoes able to survive the full force of a Bite and a Z move on a Crush. Barely able to survive that, and Gumshoes able to survive and knock out the Lycanroc, keeping our perfect streak really well. From there, I'm gonna evolve my Cubone into a Marowak, which actually, maybe I was over level or something, but I didn't get Shadow Bone, so that's kind of frustrating. From there, we're going to face up against Hal in Mali City. After we beat him, we're going to get a bunch of TMs from the TM shop, and then move on into the Electric Trial in the game. We're going to face off against the Totem Vikavolt with my Lightning Rod Marowak, which is pretty easy. I'm going to go for a Flame Charge and then two-shot into him pretty easily. Knock out a Charger Bug as well, and clear through the Bug Trial, essentially, because it's not Electric Trial at all. We were able to go out into Route 14, outside of the Power Plant, Total Plant, or whatever. We're able to start shiny hunting out here and get ourselves a Geodude. A lone Geodude is going to be really nice. We're going to add it to my team and go out to Power Plant. We're going to go for an Elekid or also a Togedemaru, both of which are going to be on Sophocles' team. We're going to get ourselves a shiny Togedemaru, which is actually very sick. I don't remember the last time I used him, so we're going to add it to my team, and then from there, we're going to face off against the Totem Mimikyu. We're going to use my Gumshoes as bait, go for Mudslaps against the Mimikyu until it actually lowers its accuracy. We almost lose my Gumshoes, which isn't the scariest concern because I was pretty open to letting it be bait. But then from there, I go out to my Togedemaru, and unfortunately, the Mimikyu copycats my Mudslaps and then used it against my Togedemaru. And then from there, the Hypnosis hits me, and I'm like, oh my god. So I got to go out into my Araquanid. My Araquanid is able to go for a Z move against the Mimikyu, and then two-shot into him, and then survive a lot of hits against them. And then from there, we knock out the Mimikyu and also knock out the Haunter. We could get a Klefki in here if we really needed. That'll come if we start losing Pokemon. As we're still on a perfect streak, we beat down Guzma as well, and then from there, we're going to face off against the next Kahuna in the game. We're going to face off against Nanu next. Nanu's going to be the dark type of Kahuna in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Rabombi. Rabombi gets faked out, which is kind of annoying, but from there, I go for Dazzling Gleam and then take a critical Power Gem, which is kind of scary. We're not going to Sableye, which is great, but Rabombi's at 1 HP essentially, so I gotta switch out. I switch out to my Shenanix next, which is actually able to go for Sleep Power against the Persian, and then from there I could go for Giga Drains against him. I used String Staff on accident, but I'm able to Giga Drain into him and two-shot him. As from there, his next Pokemon is gonna be a Crocorock, which has survived an Earthquake really well, and then Giga Drain to knock him out as we beat down Nanu, and yeah, clear down pretty easily. As from there, we're gonna make our way into the Aether Foundation and face off against all the trainers in here. Very annoying fight because there's so many trainer fights, and then face off against Guzma himself. Guzma's also a little annoying because we almost lose my Marowak over here because I thought Headbutt would flinch it or at least knock him out because I'm at +6. Doesn't knock him out, but I'm able to survive and just avoid the Air Slash and knock out the Masquerain. We also face off against Lucimi and clear down pretty easily with my Rabombi. From there, the Love Cap jumps up and we can face off against Hapu next, the final Kahuna in the game. We're face off against her using my Araquanid to start the battle off against her. We're gonna go for a Scald into the Dugtrio as we knock out the Dugtrio, and then from there the Flygon comes out. I'm gonna switch out into my Rabombi to take obviously the Dragon Breath and also the Earth Power pretty easily as we knock him out with two shots with 2 Dazzling Gleams. From there, her next Pokemon is gonna be I learned Quiver Dance, which is the most broken move, and you'll see why later on. From there, her next Pokemon is gonna be a Mudsdale. I switch out to my Shenanix. Don't know why she went for a Tectonic Rage, but she definitely did, as I got scared of the Heavy Slam, so I switched out into my Araquanid, which would go for a Hydro Vortex to knock him out very easily. As her final Pokemon will be a Gastrodon. Just stayed in, went for Leech Life, went for Scald. Eventually, we're going to knock out the Gastrodon. Come on, there we go. We eventually knock out the Gastrodon with like 5 different skulls and 5 different leech lives. And then we also get spiky shield on my Togedemaru, which is going to be very important later on. As from there, we can move on to the final trial in the game. We're going to face off against the Totem Como, which we're going to start the battle off against using my Rabambi, and it didn't go for protect as we Dazzle Gleam and knock him out in one shot. So we easily beat down a Como, and Rabambi does get Moonblast. How did we get Moonblast on Rabambi? From there, we can face off against the Ultra Space version of Lucamine in her very boosted up form, and Clefable. This Clefable was really annoying as she kept going for softballs and it wasted so much of my turns. It knocked me down to my berry, and unfortunately I'm really low on HP as I'm able to run out of psychic PPs as well. And then from there we're able to barely beat down a Clefable, force her out to her next Pokemon. She's gonna go out to her Miss Magias. Lucky enough, Dazzle Gleam will knock her out as her next opponent will be a Maltic. Go for a Bug Buzz to knock him out as well. Her next opponent after that will be a Beware with one shot, and then her final opponent will be a Lilligant, which we outspeed and knock out. So we beat down Lucamine. All it was the Clefable being really annoying. As from there, we're gonna move on and face off against Gladion next. Gladion's gonna be one of our last time we're gonna face off against a rival. We beat down Gladion pretty easily with my Marowak. Set up against the Lucario, and then face off against Hal next. Hal with my Shenanigans is actually pretty broken. We can just strength stab against her Pokemon, and we're able to beat down Hal really easily as we beat him. Now we have access into the Elite Four next. Now once we have access into the Elite Four, we can face off against the Elite Four. We're gonna face off against Hal next. We're gonna start the battle off against Hal using my Rabambi. Yeah, he's a fighting type. We can go for. He's gonna fake me out, but I'm gonna go for Draining Kiss, get my HP back off, and then realize doesn't have any moves against me. Go for 3 different Quiver Dances and then Draining Kiss to knock out the Hariyama and get my HP back up. His Crabominable will come out. I'm able to Dazzle Gleam and knock him out as well. And his next opponent will be a Poliwrath, which I Dazzle Gleam and knock out as well. And his next opponent after that will be a Primate. We one-shot him, and his final opponent will be a Beware as we one-shot that thing as well. Don't worry, each fight will not be this easy as we beat down Hala. The next fight is going to be actually the hardest. We're going to face off against Olivia next. We're going to start the battle off against Olivia using my Shenanigans. Now, Shenanigans, obviously my best Pokemon against Olivia. That's why I put the Relicanth to sleep, but unfortunately she's gonna put me to sleep. And I don't know why I didn't waste any turns by this, but I just went for the kill and knock out the Relicanth, and then take a Continental Crush with my Shenanigans. For some reason, I don't know why I would do that, but I just risked my Shenanigans for no reason at all. Luckily enough, I survived as I got to my Togedemaru. I'm able to paralyze the Lycanroc, but losing my HP really fast, I got to my Arachnid, Liquidation, and knock out the Lycanroc. As from there, her next Pokemon will be a Carping, which this Carping is so demonic. It's not killing any of my Pokemon, but it's chipping down everyone, and also has Reflect Up, so I can't do anything. I made her paralyze him with my Golem at least, but eventually I got to my Marowak just to chip him down, but it's gonna go for Power Gem, so I gotta go out to my Arachnid, and Arachnid is getting chipped down as well. Eventually I'm able to do enough damage which I can justify knocking out the Carping, and then forcing out the Probopass as I'm into Liquidation and 3-shot into the Probopass. But unfortunately my Arachnid is unable to knock out the Probopass, and I'm like, I might have to sack this thing. Unfortunately, I gotta sack it, switch onto my Marowak next to knock out the Probopass, and then her next Pokemon will be her Golem, which I got to my Togedemaru. I absorbed the Thunder Punch, but unfortunately don't take the Steamroller and also the Rock Blast pretty well, but luckily enough I have a Berry on my Togedemaru to regain my HP, but unfortunately it does a lot of damage with Rock Blast, so I gotta be very careful. Eventually it works out for me as I'm able to get a few more flinches off against him. I get 2 flinches, and then eventually I'm able to Spiky Shield and knock him out with the extra damage, and we'll take that as we beat down the Golem and beat down Olivia just barely. As from there we're gonna move on and face off against the next Elite Four member in the game. We're gonna face off against the Celery. We're gonna start the battle off against the Celery using my Rabambi against her. We're gonna go for 1 Quiver Dance and then Draining Kiss to get my HP back up from the Sableye, and I thought I was doing pretty well from this. I was like, you know what, I'll just Quiver Dance in front of the process because I get special defense boost up as well. But unfortunately the Blizzard actually crits me, and I'm like leaving at 1 HP. I'm like, come on, well, it gotta do that to me as I got to my Golem next. Unfortunately Golem gets hit with a Blizzard and almost gets knocked out, but luckily enough the Process goes for a Confuse Ray, and I'm like, please just break through it, and luckily enough it did. Stone Edge to knock out a Frostlass. As from there her next opponent will be a Palossand. Go out to my Shenanigans next. I'm gonna take the Earth Power pretty easily and then Spore into him. Giga Drain twice to knock out the Palossand. As from there her next opponent will be a Delmise, which I go for a few more Moonblasts. Actually we went for 8 Moonblasts in a row. Eventually we knock out the Delmise, and then from there we put to sleep the Drifloon and then go out to my Togedemaru to Zing Zap twice into the Drifloon and eventually knock him out as we beat down the Drifloon. And yeah, we beat down the Celery. Next up we're gonna move on and face off against Kahili next. We're gonna start the battle off against Kahili using my Marowak against her Skarmory, which is a pretty much free set of fodder, as I'm going to get +6 with Swords Dance and then go for 3 Flame Charges as she's going to heal up her Skarmory, as I'm going to outspeed her I'm gonna outspeed her entire team very easily. As from there, we knock out the Skarmory. Her next opponent will be a Mana Buzz. I go for a Z-Rock because, you know what, I need to make sure this Mana Buzz goes down. We knock out the Mana Buzz, and then from there, her next opponent will be a Toucannon. I go for a Rock Tomb and knock out a Toucannon. Outspeed the Crobat. We one-shot him as well, and then from there, we're gonna Rock Tomb once again and knock out the Oricorio as we beat down Kaylee in like 6 turns. From there, we're going to move on and face off against the champion in the game. We're going to face off against Professor Kukui. We only lose 1 Pokemon at this point, so it's not too bad. As from there, we're going to face off against this Lycanroc. We're going to use my Shenanigans to go and put the Lycanroc to sleep. Luckily enough, it didn't set up rocks as I'm able to go for a Giga Drain and Spore to knock out the Lycanroc. From there, we're going to force out the Braviary, which is kind of scary, as I go out to my Golem next. I survived the Braviary pretty easily. As from there, it's going to set up Tailwind, but I'm going for Rock Blast against him. From there, the Golem, you know, this is kind of scary. I got to sacrifice my Golem, I can't lie, as I'm trying to paralyze down the Snorlax, as didn't work out. Also, the Tailwind's up, so I can't switch up to my Shenanigans. Kind of scary. As from there, I'm going to go out into my Togedemaru. Unfortunately, I get a Nuzzle off against him, but it's getting high horsepower and knock out on my Togedemaru. So, unfortunately, another sacrifice had to be made, but go out to my Shenanigans next. I go for 6 String Saps. I don't care about the HP at all, but I just need to lower his attack stat all the way down until I go out to my Marowak. Marowak's able to get +6 off against him really easily, and then from there I just go for flame charges against him. It takes a long time because he actually healed up and then goes for a few more attacks against me. Eventually we're able to knock out the Snorlax. Actually, Kukui actually went for 2 healing items, so it's kind of really annoying. So eventually we knock out the Snorlax with like 7 different flame charges, and then from there you can switch out into his Primarina, which I have my +6 Shadow Bone will one-shot him. As from there we knock out the Primarina. His next opponent will be a Magnezone, which I were able to flame charge into him and then knock him out in the following turn as we beat down the Magnezone, and his final opponent will be a Ninetales, which we Shadow Bone and one-shot as we beat down Professor Kukui and beat down Pokemon Sun and Moon using only shiny Trial Captain Pokemon. So this is a pretty easy run the whole time. We actually lose Pokemon just because some poor planning, I guess, because I could have switched out to my Shenanigans. I thinking back to it, could have went for a Spore or something and just outspeed him and use String Sap. That could have been a plan, but either way, we made it to the end. That would be it for me today. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, my name is Alpha, and I hope you guys all have a great day, and I'm out. Peace.